Hi, and welcome to Just Another View. So today's episode is the second part of the three-part series of the COVID news conference of Christmas. Today I'm going to be focusing on the graphs by JVT. So here goes.
Here are two pictures of the UK, one based on the 10th of December and one based on the 24th of December. And you can see that the average case rate per 100,000 through testing is 190 per 100,000 on the left, rising to 380 per 100,000 as a UK average by Christmas Eve. The heat maps on the geographic representation, the darkest areas are the hottest areas, and you can see overall there's been a considerable growth across the national footprint in that time, and particularly centred on London, the South East and the home counties, and also South Wales. Next slide, please.
Okay, so that was just looking at the first slide, which is showing a 2-week period of the growth, should I say, of the growth of the virus. It was less 2 weeks ago before Christmas Eve. Now it's more. I'm sure between those 2 weeks, there's been an effort on having testing done. So there's been mass testing literally just popping up everywhere, especially in London, in the London area. So I guess that might be a reason for part of the increase. And more importantly, this period, this is the flu season anyway. So more people are going to get a virus, one way or the other. Throughout my whole COVID talk, I'm going to keep on saying this and reminding you about this. Yes, the cases are rising, but 99.5% of those cases will be mild. Anyway, let's go on. Let's move on. Next slide.
This is now being reflected in the number of people going into hospital with COVID-19 across the UK. On the extreme left, you can see Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales, and then you can see the English regions on the right of the slide. And I really want to draw your eye to the three in the bottom right-hand corner, the South East, London and the East of England, where you can see very sharp rises that have really taken off since early December, but particularly so in London in the last few days. With regard to the Midlands, the North West and North East Yorkshire, you can see that things are not running quite as hot as they were in early November. They've come down a bit, but they have not really, they've stabilised at a high rate. They have not dropped low. So that's equally a problem that we face now. Next slide, please.
So what he's trying to say with this slide is hospitals are beginning to become overwhelmed over the last 2 weeks. It's going high in the areas of London, South East London and East England. Okay, I see the high numbers, but what is the problem? The reason I say what is the problem is because according to the NHS speaker, he said this numerous times. He said there's capacity for emergencies. He said it. So yes, the numbers are rising. Yes, this hospitalization are rising, but I think that's what Nightingale is for, isn't it? And all the planning they've done all for the year, that's what that's for being able to accommodate high numbers in the NHS, especially in London. He just said, okay, this is high, this is high, this is high. Danger. So yet again, we should all stay home. And we're moving on to the next slide. So let's move on to the next slide.
Data from the Office for National Statistics show you here from the surveys the estimated number of people testing positive in England over time. From typically at the start of the autumn, 1 in 900 people testing positive, to a point just before Christmas where nationally in England 1 in 70 people were testing positive. And you can see the effect of the national restrictions bringing the curve down in the period between 6th November and 5th December. But then, unfortunately, you can see the sharp takeoff after that. That is all too familiar to all of us now.
Okay, now, so this slide, as it says, this is an estimated number of people, estimated, testing positive for COVID-19. Yet again, we get all these cases, the rising cases, 1 in 70 people. Okay, I get that. Right now, there have been testing centers set up everywhere in this period. It's throughout the month of December. So, of course, it's going to be higher numbers testing positive. That's not rocket science. You should be saying that. That's expected. The other thing that is not mentioned, that is nowhere in this graph or in this data that's been provided, is the fact that 99.5% of these cases will be mild, according to the data. That information is missing from this presentation. But let's move on to the next slide, because all I'm hearing on this right now, doom and gloom. That's it.
A little word on this slide on the new variant coronavirus, which has been reported widely in the media. Testing that is compatible with identification of the new variant are the dark blue lines, and the other variants, or the old or the pre-existing variants, if you like, are the brown lines. And what you can see is in that bottom right-hand corner again, where I drew your attention to those very sharp rises in hospital admissions, you can see that in terms of the percentage testing positive for the virus, the percentage testing positive with the new variant is increasing at really a very substantial rate indeed. In the other areas, or most of the other areas, I unfortunately have to say to you that I think to the right-hand side of each chart, with not much more than the eye of faith, you can see those upticks of the new variant beginning to occur. And that obviously is of enormous concern, that the new variant, with its increased transmissibility, is beginning to spread to other areas of the UK.
Okay, so this slide, this is about the percentage testing positive for the new variant. So what he's trying to prove with this is that, it's now increasing in every region across England. And it's becoming a worry, it's a danger. But the good news, the old variant or the original variant is regressing. And we have the vaccine, beautiful. But don't get too excited, because there's a new variant now, which is now rising, and it spreads even quicker. I said this before, where this quicker, this rising, we're in the flu season. And apparently, the new variant is not as bad as the old variant. The old variant was 99.5% mild. So if the new variant is not as bad as the old variant, what is the problem? It's all doom and gloom. What I can't believe, actually, the fact that this has been going on from day one. This almost sounds like this was from a press conference way back in March. Still spitting out the same fear. Because that's what this is about. This is fear. You know the crazy thing? If you keep consuming this sort of information every day, even if you're in the 99.5%, you would actually feel like you're bad. You'll actually feel worse than you are. It must be the new variant. I can't taste, I can't smell, I'm so weak. My point is, I'd listen to all of this, but where is the 99.5%? Where is the hope? There is literally no hope in any of these slides. I don't understand. What exactly were the slides for? What exactly came out of these slides now? I mean, so after you watch this and you listen to this, what are you meant to, how are you meant to feel? You're meant to feel, oh my God. Or you're meant to feel a bit of hope. Even the fact that the vaccine is actually here. Amazing. I think it's amazing, frankly, the way the experts are ruling our lives without giving us the full information. Because frankly, the only issue really should be, and it's actually an issue according to the NHS advisor, it's not actually an issue, is the overwhelming of hospitals. Not the fact that people are getting ill. People are going to get ill. We know that. There's going to be 0.5% people are going to get ill. We know that. That's unfortunate. But This guy's telling us to give up. We need your help. How much more can the 99.5% people give? Come on. Let's listen to the next one.
Final slide, please. This slide really geographically summarises where we are in terms of the tier restrictions being announced today. A very large proportion of the UK, 78% of the population, are, as of tomorrow, being placed into Tier 4, with a small minority remaining in Tier 3 and almost nowhere now left in tier 2 and Tier 1.
This is a slide on local restriction tiers from 31st of December. And this is the final slide. And I tell you what, I'm not going to even listen to what he has to say. Straight away. Why? I'm not actually going to listen to what he's going to say in this slide, because it's going to be another doom and gloom as usual. But this just proves to me anyway, I don't know about you, but this proves to me, just looking at this slide on its own, why in the hell is the Tier 4 stay at home? Why the hell is it in black? That just looks like death, danger, not even danger, death. That looks scary. I mean, why the color black? This is my point. The whole point of all of this, I think, this press conference is to send a message of doom and gloom and scare you and put fear into you. You see these colors, you just, without even listening to this conference and just see this map, I'll go crazy. I mean, I won't go crazy. But I'm going to say this. This is irresponsible. This is irresponsible. You're really trying to put fear into people. The only reason I would use black is to put fear into people. There's no other reason for using black. There's so many colors. So many colors. Black. Seriously? Wow. I guess, as they say, it's all about the narrative. It's all about the narrative and the optics. And the optics. Because when you see this, when you hear what he's got to say, that's the effect he wants. And that's sad, because this is incomplete information. Nowhere do they say 99.5%. Nowhere do they tell you that all the time. Amazing. Anyway, and on that note, my advice is, don't be fearful. Just be careful. Be safe.